Microsoft is constantly making changes to its features and applications, and it can be a lot to keep up with. So it's time to sit down and talk about the nerd news of the month, where I'm going to review some of the interesting features on the Microsoft Roadmap that launched in October of 2023. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to discuss an important update that a lot of us have been waiting for to the Stream on SharePoint application. It is scheduled to be out in December of 2023. But you know, Microsoft can always move that to the right. So let's jump on in and take a look. First, let's start with a few SharePoint updates. As a site owner, you've always had the option to go up to the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner. When you select that, you will see Change the Look. Now, if you're not seeing this option, it means that your SharePoint administrator has not given you permission for this. So I'm going to click on Change the Look, and Microsoft has added 2 additional themes. Now, how many you see on the pane on the right will depend on what your company allows, but I have all of them, and I'm going to scroll down to see the 2 new ones, which are Black and Cerulean. I'm going to choose Black because I know a lot of people like dark mode, but SharePoint does not really honor that setting. The Black theme will let you recreate some of that look. Let's go back to the settings and click Change the Look again, and this time we're going to look at the header. The backgrounds that you see here are based on the theme template you choose, so now you have the option to use black boxes, light gray, dark gray, and as always, you can choose white. So let's look at a practical example of this. I'm going to navigate to my Stream on SharePoint page where I've already put it in edit mode, and I've selected the dark gray background for the video-based learning section of the page. So now you can see this looks a little bit more like a dark mode screen, but you have the benefit of alternating the sections to make some of them stand out. Next, we're going to talk about SharePoint accessibility improvements that were marked as launched this month. The first option impacts images on the page. Screen readers are used by many people as an accessibility accommodation when they are blind or have low vision. The reader does not automatically know how to describe an image. For some time, we have been able to give alternate text to an image so that the screen reader can describe it to someone. Now we can take it one step further and mark the image as decorative. This tells the screen reader tool that it does not add information to the page and does not need alternative text. For example, the image on this page is used to break up the big chunks of text that were on the page. The next accessibility feature has to do with the headers. Traditionally, there have been 4 header levels that can be used anywhere on a SharePoint page. Now, the level 1 header is reserved for the title section only. The text on the rest of the page can be level 2 through 4. This makes it easier for the screen readers to identify the structure of the content. Now let's look at the new way to send SharePoint news to Outlook. When you create a new news item, you will now see 6 templates specifically designed for sharing to email. The benefit with this is that the full news item is shared and not just a preview link. Note that the templates made for email will have fewer web part options. I'm going to choose the newsletter template and then click Create at the bottom right corner of the page. Now you will add your content to this template just like you normally would for any SharePoint news item. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to make a couple minor adjustments and then pretend like the rest of the newsletter is exactly what I want. As you scroll through the template, you will notice that there are several content blocks to fill in as needed. After you're done creating your news item, go to the toolbar at the top left side of the screen to preview what the published content will look like. This looks pretty good and it doesn't look like it needs any changes, so I will go back to the SharePoint page and go to the top right-hand side of the screen to click Post and Send. A dialog box will appear and there will be a notice at the top letting you know that your news item is posted. In the To or CC line, you can add the names of the people you want to send emails to. You also have a space for an optional message letting people know why they are receiving this email. After that, scroll to the bottom right corner of the dialog box and click Send. Nestor is a fake user, so I can log into his email account and we can verify that the email arrived with our custom message. Since we are in Outlook, let's look at the new Disallow Reactions feature. This update allows a user to decide if reactions should be allowed when sending a new email. Create a new email like you normally would, but before clicking Send, go to the Options tab in the toolbar. In the Tracking section, you will see a new box for Disallow Reactions. Once you click that, go ahead and send your email. Now I have logged into my Outlook account and I'm going to open Nestor's email. Notice on the right side of the screen, the little reaction button is grayed out. Now, some people have asked for this feature because they find reactions distracting or they would rather people respond with a reply versus just a thumbs up. Now, this can be set on a case-by-case basis or by the admins for the entire company. But if your coworker comes to you and says, "Hey, why is the smiley face button grayed out?" you now know the answer. Now let's switch over to Microsoft Loop. Some of you may be familiar with this if you use it in a chat in Microsoft Teams, but there's also a full standalone app. If you don't see this, it might be because you're not allowed to use preview applications where you work. For this update, Microsoft has made it possible for you to get a link to your planner and then put it here in the Loop application. So in this example, I'm going to add 2 different planners to my Roadmap Planner page in Loop. This way I can look at them one on top of the other without having to constantly switch back and forth within the Planner app. As a simple example, in my Message Center notifications, I found an item about Teams that I think is particularly interesting and may deserve a video. Since they're both on the same page, all I need to do is scroll up, go to my research section, and then add in the information. And if I want additional details, I can simply scroll down and look at the other entry. I can also add additional types of information. So for example, I want a text box where I can add notes to my colleagues and then we can communicate back and forth about the information contained on this page. Now let's talk about the Stream on SharePoint feature that I think a lot of us have been waiting for, and that is the ability to add a Microsoft form, whether it be a survey, poll, or quiz, directly into a video at a specific time marker. Now, we used to have this option in Stream Classic, and it's been missing from Stream on SharePoint for about a year. Hopefully, this comes out on time in December of 2023, but as always, the dates can slide to the right a little bit. Now, speaking of features that can slide to the right, last month we talked about the much anticipated personal planners. This was supposed to be fully rolled out in October of 2023. It's not marked as launched yet, but it is in the process of rolling out, so hopefully we'll be able to see it soon.